So you're thinking about trying backpacking and you don't know where to start. Yeah, we've all been there, probably scouring the internet for YouTube videos and gear reviews and trying to figure out what is all of this about. Well, pretty simple. In the next series of videos I make, we're gonna break all of that down into real simple terms. And we're gonna talk about what backpacking is, how you can get into it, what you need to worry about, and what you don't need to worry about. So first of all, I'm going to break down what backpacking is, and it's very simple. I'm sure most of you have been on a walk or a hike. Well, backpacking is walking, generally on a trail of some sort with everything that you need on your back. Stuffed in one of these guys. That's fun, isn't it? Yep. You know, a lot of people have been hiking, day hiking. May hike through the woods for a day, for the afternoon, to a destination, see a waterfall, whatever. A lot of people have been camping, maybe camping out of your car, camping in a state park. What we're going to do is we're going to combine those two things together. And there's lots of places that a person in the United States can backpack. And we're going to go over that too. What are the benefits of backpacking? Why would I do this? Well, number one, other than buying the equipment that you need, backpacking is generally free. You have the expense of the food you're going to eat and the things you're carrying, and that's it. And a lot of that stuff is a one-time purchase. So I've always liked it because anybody can do it anytime, basically anywhere. The benefits that go along with that, for me, for a long time, have been it's a clarity thing. There's a lot of mental health from being able to get out and survive on your own with nothing else, sort of disconnect, be on your own, walk through the woods. I like to section hike the Appalachian Trail. I got started doing that very young because my dad was a section hiker of the Appalachian Trail. So I've been backpacking for a little over 30 years. And in that time, it has always been the same thing for me. It just provides a different level of happiness, and you get to see things that you normally would not get to see because you can't get there by car. You got to physically walk there. So there's a ton of benefits there that you're going to find for yourself, and it's going to mean something different to everybody. The second thing that I really like to throw out there is I've met a lot of really good friends through backpacking. I've met people on the trail from different states. I have met people from different countries. And it's always been a platform to create new friendships. And I don't know about you, but I like making new friends. It's a lot of fun for me. The third benefit of backpacking is going to be fitness and confidence. So I've always found that I feel better after a backpacking trip. My body feels better. You're going to be tired, especially your first time. You're going to be tired and fatigued a little bit because it can be a lot of work, depending on where you go. If you're in the mountains, you're going to be doing a lot of ascending and descending. But you're going to get a new confidence about yourself that, hey, I can do this. It's not that hard. And I'm on my own. And so that's been a huge booster for me over the years. It always kind of like recenters me when regular life is getting too busy. Now let's talk about the myths of backpacking. I hear a lot of people say, you're looking at these YouTube videos and you may be following somebody like Darwin here that I'm watching on YouTube, and you say, well, these people all seem to be like, oh, I'm pretty good health, and I'm not in pretty good health, and I'm worried about my ability to do this. The good thing about backpacking is it is at your own pace. It doesn't matter whether you're taking a 1-mile hike or a 20-mile hike. Everybody's going to do it at their own pace, and there is no competition. There's not a competition to backpacking. So the big myth about that is you don't have to necessarily be physically fit at all. You only have to be able to carry your backpack, and you have to be able to walk through the woods. That's the only thing there is to it. And enjoy yourself. You got to enjoy yourself. Another thing I hear all the time is that, man, I'd love to go backpacking, but it's too expensive. That's not necessarily true either. Yes, you do need some things to go backpacking. However, there are multiple channels for you to get those things. You don't have to buy new, hyper expensive gear to have fun on the trail. There are plenty of marketplaces for used gear. There are even marketplaces where you can rent gear. So you can do it with very little money out of pocket. If you have a small budget, you can put some gear together to go backpacking. It doesn't have to be expensive. As you go along, you can pick up the nicer gear that you want, because everybody's going to figure out what they want. And that's going to be different for you, for me, for everybody, because there is a wide gamut of things out in the outdoor world that you may or may not want. So it does not have to be expensive right now. You don't have to spend a bunch of money out of your pocket to go backpacking. Another big one that I hear is, man, isn't it dangerous? What if I get eaten by a bear or a mountain lion? Or what if somebody attacks me or I get abducted? What if there's aliens? What if there's Bigfoot? Well, obviously, a big chunk of those are myths. In my 30 years of backpacking, I have had no dangerous encounters with animals in many states on many different trails, no dangerous encounters with people in many different states on many different trails. Backpacking is relatively safe. There are some things that you're going to need to consider for your personal needs while you're backpacking, but it overall is not a super dangerous thing. When you plan for it correctly, you have the information that you need, and you have a little bit of confidence, and you're ready to go. Another thing I got a lot, especially I think when I was really like putting my section hikes up or was talking to my friends about section hiking, is like, what do you do? You know, you're all alone. You're completely alone out there. Do you talk to yourself? Do you read books? Well, that is kind of a myth too. I don't know in recent history of a hike that I have been on in a national forest, on a national scenic trail, where I have not encountered at least some people. In fact, like I said before, I've made friends on trail. You're not always alone. It does not have to be an alone thing. There are groups on Facebook in almost literally every state that you can join and find people to go backpacking with. I know that I hear that a lot more from women than men, and that's understandable. Women don't want to be out in a situation unprepared alone, but that doesn't have to be the case. It is very easy to find somebody who you become friends with that you can go backpacking with. And quite frankly, there's not really going to be a time where you're not going to encounter other people, especially in these bigger, like I said, national trails, national forest. On the weekends, you are going to see other people. There are going to be other people around. And there are plenty of things that you can put into play if you're worried about being alone. And that would be satellite communicators, GPS devices. A lot of places that you're going to go, you're still going to have cell phone signal, even if it's not very much, and you're going to be able to send messages and make calls. But like I said, if you wanted a satellite communicator or something like that, we're going to dive into that later on. If you feel like that's something you need, or you're going to be wanting to visit remote areas where the possibility of not having cell phone signal exists. And the last thing I want to touch on is you don't need to be a survival expert. This is not a survival game. I don't want you to leave your house with a blanket and a pair of socks and a granola bar like you're on National Geographic. That's not how this works. First of all, that wouldn't be very fun. I don't want you to do that. And second of all, the skills that you need to backpack efficiently are very easy to develop. They're things you can learn at home. They're not going to take a ton of time. And once you get in the method of doing that and you get used to your things, your gear, and you get a system that's kind of evolved for you, you're going to be just fine. It doesn't take a bunch of technical skills. You don't need a survival blanket, or you see these like survival kits on Amazon. That's a waste of your money. You don't need any of that stuff. It's a very simple process. You're walking through the woods. You have everything you need in your backpack, on your back, and you're heading to a destination. It's as simple as that. And in these next couple of videos, I'm going to break all that down. We're going to break down the gear that you need, where you can acquire that gear, how to buy the right gear. We're going to talk about trip planning, where you may or may not want to go, some of the supplies you may want to have, some of the things you don't want to waste your time and money on. And if that's something that interests you, I encourage you to subscribe, like this video, and follow along, because we are going to go from start to finish, and we're going to turn beginners into backpackers. We'll see you guys next time.